Since Elon Musk first proposed the idea of the Hyperloop during the PandoDaily Event in 2012, the world hasn't been able to stop imagining what could be if such transportation technology were made commercially available. Since then, there have been various companies trying their luck to break through the challenges of Hyperloop technology. Even nations from all over the world are competing to open the first operational system, including billionaires, engineers, and governments. Additionally, Elon Musk's SpaceX has also initiated a Hyperloop Pod Competition to encourage fellow Hyperloop enthusiasts to participate in designing and building a Hyperloop prototype. So, has the race to build the world's first Hyperloop begun? If it has, who is leading it? Before we continue, I hope you have checked out our video on Hyperloop Explained in order to fully understand the mechanism of this technology. Considering that you already know what a Hyperloop is, how it would function, and how it could solve the world's transportation problems, let us tell you that there have also been several instances where the idea of constructing a Hyperloop has faced criticism. And why wouldn't it? The Hyperloop would require its passengers to travel through sealed tubes at airline speed in pods that are propelled by electric motors and magnetic levitation, all in order to travel long distances in just a few minutes. In addition, for the idea to finally materialize, cutting-edge engineering, enormous financial investment, and the ability to overcome exceptional economic and political challenges would be needed. Despite the fact that the Hyperloop has not yet been made commercially available, numerous businesses are developing their own, often in secret. They occasionally make announcements about partnerships, put out videos, or publish research papers on feasibility studies. There are many clues and a lot of hype, but not always much substance. It's important to emphasize that Hyperloop technology is constantly changing as research advances and the rate of innovation increases. So despite this, let's see which companies and nations are involved in this race. We have done our research and have listed the following participants in the Hyperloop race. Virgin Hyperloop. Possibly leading the Hyperloop race is the Richard Branson-backed Virgin Hyperloop, formerly known as Hyperloop One. Virgin Hyperloop was the first company to conduct a test with live passengers in November of last year. A 1,600-foot development track close to Las Vegas was used for the test run. The Hyperloop's duration for the two passengers was 15 seconds, and its peak speed was not as expected, touching a low speed of 107 mph. The test was a major achievement for the company and will continue efforts to make the Hyperloop's goal of 760 mph ready for commercial use. Hyperloop Transportation Technologies. The first Hyperloop company ever established is named Hyperloop Transportation Technologies, or HTT. It was established in 2013 and has offices in California and France. It's basically a worldwide workforce of more than 800 engineers, innovators, and technologists who work in 52 diverse teams with 40 business and academic partners. So it is no doubt that they are on par with Virgin Hyperloop, which seems to be first in this race. It's also unquestionably in the lead in terms of expansion, growth, and global reach, especially if Virgin Hyperloop moves away from the competition. Transpod. Canada has come up with Transpod Incorporated for its participation in the Hyperloop race. In 2016, Sebastian Gendron, CEO of Transpod, came up with an article that described what their fifth mode of transportation would be. According to the article, the design would resemble a train combined with an aircraft while delivering fast speeds that make it possible to get from Toronto to Montreal in less than 45 minutes. Transpod cars are being developed to be entirely electric vehicles that can reach speeds of over 1,000 kilometers per hour without the need for fossil fuels. Cargo transpods are compatible with wooden pallets and a variety of other unit load systems, and they are made to handle loads weighing between 10 and 15 tons. Additional Canadian lines that Transpod is building include Toronto-Windsor and Calgary-Edmonton. Both have support from the respective counties. The team also declared intentions to construct the world's longest Hyperloop test track near Dreux, France in 2019. Despite severe delays brought on by the COVID-19 outbreak, the test track is still being built. Over the next 3 years, the business wants to surpass the 600 km/h HSR or high-speed rail speed record, according to Gendron. Research and development for the Hyperloop. The concept of building a high-speed transportation system is currently being fully integrated and optimized by Hyperloop firms, as they conduct full-scale tests to develop safety and insurance procedures. Virgin Hyperloop, which is in the lead in the race, has collaborated with the Technology Innovation Institute and the Applied Research component of Abu Dhabi's Advanced Technology Research Council or ATRC to further research, innovate, and localize the technology by this year in December. However, in Toulouse, France, the Hyperloop TT inaugurated a 3,000 square meter European Hyperloop Research and Development Center that includes the tube, vacuum pumps, and a full-scale system, which is the world's first in just 2 years. Through this, we know that for all the companies in the race to build the first Hyperloop system, the race will be difficult. They have also conducted thorough feasibility studies on the Hyperloop system, and the results show that the system is technically and economically feasible, with the possibility of making a profit. On the other hand, Transport has its team split between Toronto and Dreux. However, the R&D facility is also established in Italy. They could manage a facility there thanks to the €30 million agreement and subsidies by the European Union in 2020. With the world's first full-scale test track built in the Nevada desert, Virgin Hyperloop One is arguably in the lead after getting its $10 billion plan to develop a route between Pune and Mumbai approved as a public infrastructure project in 2019. While there are now about 75 million passenger trips conducted annually between the two cities, that figure is expected to rise to 130 million by 2026. The 3.5-hour vehicle trip would just take 35 minutes with the Hyperloop system. The project was placed on hold in early 2020 despite an intent agreement being signed and the start of public procurement. When other modes of transportation required investment, questions were raised regarding India's being the pioneer of the first system. The plan hasn't been completely abandoned though, as Sir Richard Branson of Virgin has now met with India's Union Transport Minister to suggest another route that would connect New Delhi and Mumbai. Saudi Arabia and India are competing to open the first system, and Virgin Hyperloop One is in advanced negotiations with Saudi Arabia about building a manufacturing facility in a 35-kilometer test track north of Jeddah. A pre-feasibility study on the usage of Hyperloop networks was recently approved by the government. It will be the first of its kind to be done at the national level anywhere in the globe. The goal of Saudi Arabia is to link the major Gulf cities so that 45 million people may travel there in less than an hour each year. Such a proposal, which would include solar panels on the tubes outside, would be in line with the United Arab Emirates' plan to use 50% sustainable energy by 2050. The Middle East is another region where Hyperloop Transportation Technologies is developing a system. The company has suggested a $6 billion 150-kilometer line between Dubai and Abu Dhabi that would cut travel time between the two cities to 15 minutes. It also has its own full-scale test track in France, and has stated that it intends to start passenger testing by the end of 2020. Commercial operations are anticipated to start in 2023. The United States represents Hyperloop TT's greatest chance of winning the competition, despite the fact that its Middle Eastern ideas appear promising. With a daring proposal to connect Chicago with Cleveland and Pittsburgh in late 2019, the company released what they claim to be the most thorough Hyperloop feasibility assessment to date in collaboration with the Northeast Ohio area-wide coordinating agency. Tens of millions of trips are made along the Great Lakes region every year, and over the next 25 years, a sizable increase in both passenger and freight traffic is anticipated. The Midwest would receive a significant boost from a quick trip via Hyperloop from Chicago to Cleveland, and it may even become a single labor market where individuals could reside in one place and work in another. The project is currently going through an environmental impact study, and Hyperloop TT wants to make the route operational by 2028, subject to the results and clearance by multiple governmental bodies, including the US Department of Transportation. Although they won a Virgin Hyperloop One competition in 2017, plans to build Hyperloop between Mexico City and Guadalajara, which would reduce the 6-hour vehicle trip to 38 minutes, have been slower to catch on as compared to elsewhere in North America. While some developers have actively collaborated, others have worked as rivals. A joint technical committee called JTC20 was established in Europe in the early months of 2020, with the goal of establishing uniform methods for Hyperloop development on the continent. In the partnership are the Dutch company Hard Hyperloop, the Polish company Hyper, the Canadian company Transpod, which has operations in France and Italy, and the Spanish company Zilorus. In the upcoming years, a network of research centers is expected to start operating throughout these nations. Hard Hyperloop is paving the way with its own European Hyperloop Center in Groningen, whose development is scheduled to be finished in 2022. In addition to the first high-speed test track in Europe, the facility will feature a laboratory where developers may exchange information about standards, safety, and passenger experience. Additionally, Hard intends to construct its own 10 to 15 kilometer test route by 2023 and hopes to run commercial lines by 2028, a goal it acknowledges as ambitious. In Hard's future, every major European city will be connected by Hyperloop, making commutes between important centers like Amsterdam and Frankfurt convenient. The likelihood of the first Hyperloop operating in Europe should not be ignored because of the continent's numerous entrepreneurs being encouraged to collaborate and the rapid development of research facilities and test locations. It has been a rough ride thus far for a technology that Elon Musk originally said would provide a smooth passenger experience. But with advancements in testing and technology, as well as increased global government backing, the possibility of the world's first Hyperloop system carrying people within the next 10 years is no longer a far-fetched myth. Let us know your thoughts on this in the comments section below. Subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Press the bell icon to never miss an upcoming update. Thank you for watching.